Okay, here we go. How's that for a sound check? Just see in a minute. All right, hello everybody. My name is Anthony Horvath. I am the host of the Gutencast. I'm also an author and a publisher, and I've been involved in publishing for about 15 years now. Sound is coming through loud and clear. Now, I don't necessarily think that I'm going to have a lot of live viewers tonight, but I see we have a couple. But I do expect that this might be one of my more popular podcasts in the future because it's kind of work related, and there's a lot of people out there putting books together that they want to make available on Kindle Direct or Lulu or other places. Or you might submit your book for consideration from the Gutenbook Press. Gutenbookpress.com being the website that I own and run. It's an online book retailer and also the imprint for one of my publishing outfits. I'm not going to really spend a lot of time trying to sell you my books today. I'm going to go through how to set up a book. And, you know, by the time we're done, you will hopefully be able to take your manuscript and make it look perfect. Now, I thought about showing you some bad examples. Then I thought, well, I don't want to make people feel bad looking at how their manuscripts are set up. And I thought, well, how about if I find one of my own from like the early days. And I thought, you know what? I think folks who are watching this probably know what I'm talking about. They've bought a book, maybe for whatever reason, or maybe they made the book themselves, and they're like, man, it just doesn't look like a quote real book. Now, don't underestimate the power of what a real book looks like in terms of its marketing appeal. Whether it's the quality of the cover or the the layout on the inside. I once had an author tell me that his book was not a real book because it didn't have the groundwood pulp kind of paper. It was just like a beige colored paper, so for that guy, a real book was one of those little books that you found at the supermarket on the end of the aisle, really, kind of a cheap stuff. Well, at any rate, don't underestimate that kind of thing. And you're going to want to make your manuscript as excellent as possible. And you probably know, if you're looking at it, that you need some help. So I want to go through the mechanics of how I use Microsoft Word to create my manuscripts. Now, I've seen some of the more expensive ones, the proprietary manuscript programs that are out there. A long time ago, I went through and I looked at them all. But the thing is, I've been able to duplicate just about anything that they do just using Microsoft Word. And I'm cheap, so why spend the money on those things when I can do it? But I have learned a lot, and I have learned some tips and tricks, and they might be useful for you as well. So I'm not going to beat around the bush too much here. Let's see, I got things kind of ready to go. And leave a question or comment if you want. This is going to be a little bit tricky for me to manage because I have multiple windows. Here, let me put this on that one. And I may as well make it as big as possible. We can make it a little bit bigger. There we go. That's probably pretty good. You don't even need to see me either, probably, but let's get rid of let's make the thumbnail a little bit smaller. And I'll move me down here. Okay. So as you can see, what I have here is a manuscript, A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. This book is in the public domain, and I prepped it for this. What version of Word? I think it is 2016. I think it is 2016. It's supposed to be like in the About section. Anyway, I'll find that out. So this is how a lot of people are going to start. If you scroll down here, you can see, it's just a wall of text. Let's make it a little bit smaller so it fits on the screen. Still doesn't fit on the screen. Only way I'm going to do it is for me to minimize it, huh? Stupid. There we go. We'll do it like that. So anyway, depending on how you compose your work, if you're like me, the way that when I'm writing, I don't worry about formatting too much as I'm writing, as I'm in the creative process. So I'm just going to write in whatever the default Microsoft Word layout is, and then when I'm ready to publish, then I'm going to get to work. And usually I try not to do any layout until I've done editing the work completely, at least as much as possible. Because there does come a point where if you make changes after you've worked on your layout, you can break the layout. And when I typeset my author's manuscripts and I get them ready, I don't even let them make changes directly to the file anymore. I have them send me a list of changes. And usually, and then I make the changes, usually that's enough of a threat and a deterrent that they make sure that they give me the most polished text that they possibly can, because no one likes to sit there and make a list. All right, so this is a regular 8x11 manuscript here, and I've left some in the front matter, like the title and such. 88,000 words, which maybe you can't see. Well, it doesn't matter too much. It is 88,000 words, and I will choose the book size, the actual trim size, based on the word count, usually. So this would be, for me, either a 5.5 by 8.5 or a 6 by 9. I'm going to do 6 by 9 to make it easier for myself. So when I say that, I mean, like, here's what happens sometimes. When people do their setup, they finish their manuscript in 8.5 by 11, and that's what they send to Amazon through the KDP to convert. Or they just convert it right to a PDF. But the manuscript that they send is in 8.5 by 11, but the book physical size will be 6 by 9. So let's say that the auto processing system works well. It usually isn't. There's always going to be these artifacts, but the point is that you just know that in order to do that, their software is going to have to make changes to the layout. So when I submit my manuscripts to my printer, I usually don't use KDP. Ingram Spark would be a good comparison here. I send a PDF so that what they get, I know that what's printed will be exactly what I sent. And there's not going to be any of this stuff where things get converted or lost in the translation, weird artifacts that pop up when it converts from Word to PDF. I will be able to catch all that before I start. So that's why I'm not going to leave this in 8.5 by 11. I'm going to, right away, I'm going to go up here into, hopefully you guys can see this, moving the mouse up here, the page setup, and I'm going to work on the actual page size. This is my first step. So I said I'm going to do 6 by 9. And we're going to go from 245 pages to, you can't see the counter at the bottom. We've now gone to 408 pages. I may have chosen too long of a manuscript. Okay, I'm not done with that though. I'm going to go back up here to page setup. And I'm going to go to the, let me help you see this. There we go. So that's where I made it into 6 by 9. So now I'm going to go over to the margins. And this is a little bit of going to be your preference. 1 inch but all the way around, this is the Microsoft default. But when you're thinking it in terms of the final product, you have to remember that every single page has a cost to it. Roughly 3 cents a page. So if you have just to print it, so 3 cents times 400, what is that? Help me out here, OJ. I'm not going to sit here and figure it out. You work it out here. 400 pages times 3 cents. I'm sure I could figure it out. $3 times. Is it $12? Anyway, so I like to do, 1,200 cents. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I knew that, but for some reason it wasn't coming out of my mouth. So I like to do 0.6 all around as I'm roughing it in here. You can see me typing this in. Make sure you apply it to the whole document, not this point forward, because we want the whole manuscript to be in this size. All right, so we've already made progress. Of course, the page count was reduced from 400 to 329. So we do have a smart watcher. Maybe you can figure out how much we have now saved in the final product. Instead of 400 pages, we have 330 pages. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just rough in the basic, separate the main parts. And I'm going to use section breaks. You can use page breaks. At the beginning in the front matter, maybe I will. But yeah, that's right. So he figured out it's under $10 to produce this right now. That's right. So it reminds me of I live in Wisconsin. You guys have heard of beer nuts? Well, you know, we have deer nuts up here. Do you know how much they cost? They're under $1. So anyway, so let's get this the parts broken out here. So I have the formatting activated so you can see it. That's this little button up here at the top. Okay, go back to my layouts. Go insert next page. So you can see what's happening here. OJ, you didn't laugh at my joke. Okay. We have the way that I like to do it. I like to do title page and then a blank page. Because this is the page 1. This is the first page they'll see. The odd pages are the right side and the even pages on the left side. So the other side of this page will be blank. Then there will be another title page. followed by a blank page. So yes, I have 2 title pages. Okay. Deer nuts. They're under $1. They're very affordable. Get it? Deer nuts. Anyway, he apparently has a dedication. Let's leave a separate page for that. But I can already see when we're setting this up, we're going to need to leave a place for our ISBN and copyright stuff. So let's see here. Scrolling through. There's the first page. It's blank. Second title page. And I usually put the title stuff on the inside of that second title page. Okay, and that means I'm going to move the dedication off to a new page. Notice that I'm using section breaks on all this. Okay. So maybe it would help if I made it so that you could see the bottom ribbon here. Oh, I see it. It's being covered up by me, by my stupid thumbnail that I insisted on leaving on here. Let's get rid of it. All right, so you can see the page number here. So Microsoft Word wants you to start your page numbering on an odd number page. And that's fine. Most people, when they have a book, I guess I didn't get any books ready to show. They're not going to have a blank page and then start on the left side. It's going to look a little awkward. But as you can see right now, this is on page 6. Well, we have several ways of fixing this, but right now we're just kind of roughing in the layout here. So here's our dedication. That's going to be on the even side, right? So how about, for now, we're just going to insert another section break. Now here's our even. And now how about we're going to leave this book 1 on the, it'll be on the side facing the first page of the book. So now I need another section break. Here's page, what's going on? Sometimes the page numbering gets whacked. So 1, 2, page 3, page 4, let's put that introduction there. Page 5, page 6. Okay, now we're good. So now our main text starts on an odd numbered page, and we've broken it up from the others using section breaks. Okay, so I'm not going to mess with anything else quite yet. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go separate out the chapters and the books. So I don't remember how many books there are and how many chapters, but let's start with the books. And so to start with, I know the next book is book 2. There it is. So let's break that out. Next page. Next page. So the next one, now we're going to look for book 3. Next page. Now I did say at the beginning that every page adds about 3 cents in the production cost. and you're going to have to pass that along to the customer, and you might eventually come up with a book that maybe it looks really, really nice and super professional, but to accomplish that, it costs $1 extra in pages. You have to use your judgment and know who your likely customer is going to be. I probably would not have had a separate blank page for the book. I probably would have just left it above here, the chapter, just to save on the pennies. So I don't know how many books we got, but let's keep on going. Here's another one. Don't worry, we're going to run out of books here soon. The person watching says, why don't we just cut out the boring parts right now to save pages? That's a good idea. Another section break. I actually haven't read this. I'm working on this without any context at all. Okay, surely we must be getting out of books. Yep. So book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 books. Okay. So now we're at the beginning with chapter 1. So now, before I mess with the text itself, I am going to go to the very end again, because it is usually a requirement that your manuscript ends on an even number, and it has to be completely empty. So when I go back and make all my changes, I'm going to have to come and make sure that I have a blank page at the end, and that it's on an even page. If that means adding pages at the end to make it even, I will. But again, if you don't do that, when they automatically process your manuscript, they're going to create the blank page, and you don't know how they're going to do it. And if you think about it, you have to end on an even number, even page, right? Because you can't just have one side of a coin, or one side of a page, if you wish. So now I'm going to have to return to this. Right now, if you're looking at the bottom left corner, you can see that we have 341 pages. So it's very possible we're going to have to end a page at the end. And you might find, and I've done this, where I'll have 3 or 4 blank pages in a row at the end, and maybe I'll label one of them with notes, depending on what the manuscript is. Just because I think, especially on like a thinner book, the customer also has a sense of like what counts as a real book. So if you do all this and you come out with like a 50-page book, add 4 pages at the beginning and at the end, jack it up just a little bit more, so that it gets a little bit more heft, and your customer will actually prefer that often. Not that many of us are publishing 50-page books, but can happen. So anyway, I will have to return to this. It's page 341. It's an odd number. It won't work. Let's go all the way back up. Okay. So now we have some challenges. Let's go to the book block itself here. So one of the important things that you need to learn how to do when you are working in Microsoft Word in general, but certainly if you're going to be preparing your manuscripts, and that is to learn how to work with styles. So on this version of Word, which I believe is 2016, if you look up here at the very top, I'm hovering over it, click on Styles. You see that the style for this manuscript is called Normal. That's the default. And I have sort of a standard since I've done this before, I've added a style to my style menu called main text for this paragraph right here, or for the main body, the stuff that people read, not like the, I sound like an idiot now, not like the chapter or anything like that. So we've got, I click on that and you can see that it already looks better, right? Let's put it back to normal though. So before I make the next step and adjust the entire main text of the manuscript, I need to make sure that there are not parts of the format that are going to get caught up in it. Like if I were to accidentally make these chapters into the main text when I make my changes, it's going to be hard to find those things again when I'm doing my editing, unless I find a way to distinguish them in advance. And this is a really easy example. It'd be pretty easy to find the capital letter chapters using Microsoft's find function. But a lot of books are going to have a lot of other features. They'll have quotes that are maybe in italics. They might intentionally have used bold text at a point. So and if you wrote it, of course, you kind of have an idea where those things are. I, as a publisher, I'm not always as familiar with the text as my author might be. So when I'm doing that first layout that you saw me do with all the section breaks, I was keeping an eye out for any of those interesting things. Generally speaking, it looks like we're going to be all right with just looking at the books and the chapters. So let's start with book. So book is right here. Let's create a style just for this. And one of the benefits of using the style then is if you change your mind on how you want it to look later on, instead of doing find and replace for all of them, all you have to do is go to the style menu, select all the ones that are in that style, and you can change them all at once. So let's highlight that. Let's make it size 28. Let's center it. Okay, well, we will return to that. And now we're going to name it. Now, depending on what version of Word you have, how you name the style is going to be a little bit different. But on this one, you go up to the little style box here. There's a little arrow there. Is this showing? It's not showing on your... Oh, I know why it's not showing. Okay, I'll help you out here. Let me do... I'll get it. Oh, it's not going to let me do it. What if I do it like this? Style. Now come over here and do this. Nope, it's not going to let me. It's not going to let me show you the little sub box. So what if I come up? Can I do it this way? Nope. Well, on mine, when I say it's not going to let me show you, I mean my broadcasting software. It's not going to let, when I click on the style menu here, using right click, when I try to force the broadcast software to show it to you, the navigation window disappears. So I'm going to create the style, and I'm going to call it the books. Ah, it did show you that. That was nice of them, right? So the books. And now you see that it showed up over yonder in the style menu. Okay, so now I'm only going to have to do the next thing one time. I'm going to go find book 2. Hit books. Now we'll go to book 3. Changing the style over here. See me doing this? Books. Oops. Make sure we get it all. Go to the next one. What did we decide? There was only four books. Is that right? 5 books. What a moron. It's 5 books. Of course you know that. Sounds right. Okay. Well, now we have to go through and do the stupid chapters. We can always change the way it looks later. What we're trying to do is just make sure that it's distinct enough from the rest of the text that we can select it as a group later and change it. So we're going to change this to size 24. It's still centered. Create a new style. In just a second, you're gonna see the new style show up. Create a style. I will call it chapters to make it easy on myself. You see that it now shows up here at the top of the style menu. Okay, now this part's a little tedious. Now I got to go through and find all the stupid chapters. So, chapter. We'll just use the find function. Unfortunately, we can't do find and replace in this instance because it's not going to capture the numbers. It's only going to capture the word chapter. So hopefully there are not too many chapters, because that would be a really stupid podcast. No one would ever watch it again, and I wouldn't blame them. So this will be a little bit tedious here for the moment. Oops. How many chapters does this stupid book have? I might end up just doing book 1 or something, because even I can't handle this for right now. But in the real world, yes, I would have to go through and do them all. We'll do at least the first book. Surely they must run out soon. Chapter 10. Patient, young Jedi. Surely there can't be many more chapters in this stupid book. The sub-books, you know what I mean. Good grief. When does it end? Okay, that's all we're doing. Gee whiz. Oh, I bet you I know what he does. He doesn't restart the chapter number in each book. It's not book 1, chapter 2, book 2, chapter 1, 2, 3, etc. The chapter numbers are concurrent. So fine, we're just going to leave this alone for now. That's all we need, just to illustrate how to do it. Okay, so we got our chapters. So now that we've made an effort to distinguish the main points of the body of the manuscript from each other, now we're going to figure out how are we going to select the main text. Now, you're not going to be able to see this, I guess, because when I do the little style menu here and I right click on it, you're not going to see me be able to navigate it. So, I know where I can do it. Up here at the top, where it says select all text with similar formatting. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, you stupid thing. Nope, it won't let me do it. So up here where I'm hovering, if you click on select, what the submenu says, select all text with similar formatting. Now be aware, when you do this, depending on how slow your computer is, it could take some time for it to process. So right now, mine's a little bit faster computer, so you can't see my mouse cursor though, can you? Still waiting a little bit. I wonder if there's a way, if I can Well, it's still processing. It's still selecting it. I'm going to my software to see if it will. Yeah, it is set for capture the cursor. It's annoying. So I'm waiting for it to select it. And it says Word is not responding. This would be a good time to mention that I had computer problems today. And I had a thought to come in and like cut this manuscript in half just in case this kind of stuff happened, but so right now, because the amount of the text is selecting is so large, even though it says that it's not responding, it is working. Let's see if I can figure out a way to hurry it along here. So under normal circumstances, this is like one of the most the processing effort used by the computer. This is pretty much going to be the one that's the most annoying. Usually I would get up, go get a drink, come back, and it would be about done. Come on, baby. All right, I'm just going to reopen it. Because nobody wants to sit here and watch that all day long. It's stupid. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to book 2, book 3, and I'm just going to delete everything that follows from here. Because we don't need to deal with that. All right, let's just real quick recreate everything. It was 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, whole document, page setup, 6 by 9, whole document. Okay. All right, let's just skip right to the part where hopefully it'll let me do it this time. I am going to cheat and make all this a different, since I was hoping it would open up as a draft and give me a chance to recover it, but of course it didn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this, I'm just going to cheat here. I'm making it a separate format is all I'm doing here. We already know, I already explained what the reason is here. So it's not going to take too long since I did everything before. Create a style. Books. Create a style. Chapters. There are only 2 books now. You'll see that our section breaks are gone. I'll talk about that later again if I need to. Okay. So now back to the main text. Select all text with similar formatting. There is another way around this problem. Because I'm familiar with it, it does happen. Another way, instead of doing like a select all and changing it, once it's actually in the style, you can either, and you want to make a change to everything in the style, you can either do what I'm doing, where you select all and then make the change to within the style, or you can go into the style menu and there's an option for update automatically, and then that just does it. It doesn't, you don't have to select it. It just does it, and that usually does not make the computer hang. Come on, baby. I'm going to pull up my CPU monitor. So my my computer had problems today, and I don't know why, and I haven't solved them actually. Oh, guess what I just found? Recover saved unsaved file right here. Oh, you losers! Just come on, something. Oh my gosh, Microsoft, you're killing me. Bear with me. Oh, I had it and then I unclicked it. Moron! Okay, but okay, guess what I found? The file I was talking about. So let's just go to that here. There it is. So that's something to keep in mind with these other versions of Word. Like I thought it was safe to close it, and I was right, because I knew that you would get this temporary thing here. But I am going to go through and I'm going to real quick delete everything below book 3 again. Good grief. There is a hotkey that does that. But all right. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. So, select all text with similar formatting. Here we go again. You can't see the little circle. Jeopardy music, please. This normally doesn't happen to me. So this is why I still think I'm having computer issues. CPU is at 50%, 60%. Not normal at all. All right, let's see here. Okay, we got it. Good grief, there it is. There it is. Lordy. Jiminy crickets. Okay, quick, save. Goodness gracious. Okay. That's not going to be a problem again. Okay. 66% CPU load. Not cool. Okay, so let's go back to the top here. Oh, did you see that? When I did that, we lost the formatting for the chapter. You see how I have highlighted? So I'm not going to deal with it right now, but we'd have to go back here and change the formatting for our chapters again. That looks like a pain. Okay. Now let's go over the how I do the main text here. See if you guys are able to see this. You're not going to be able to see the little submenus. Okay, all right, I'll let you do that. So here's what I have for the main text. Well, yes, it's not going to let you see. It won't let you see the submenus. I may have just found a way to do it. Okay. So when I click on format here, nope, it didn't let me show it to you. Anyway, right now it's size 12, and I have the first line indented 0.2. So a lot of times when people make a paragraph, instead of indenting it using a style, they'll actually do something like like a tab. And the problem with tab is you can't see it very easily. You don't know that you did it, and when you change the formatting, the tabs don't come with it. So what I like to do, see that, I don't know if you noticed, but that actually broke the formatting by using tabs. Okay. I also justify the text. People think that looks a lot better. It's really frustrating. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do a separate video where I take screenshots of the little submenus, because you're not able to see some important details here. But when I see modify, you are able to see that. Okay, here it is. Here's the one that I'm trying to show you. There we go. Okay, good deal. So you see how the alignment up here is justified. That makes it line up nicely on both sides. I have no indentation here. What I have is the first line indented by 0.2. I made sure that I got rid of the spaces. It was 0.10 by default. If we were to go back to the normal style, this would be 10. Get rid of the 0, make it 0 so that there's no spaces. You don't want auto, because whenever you let Microsoft Word do something for you, it thinks it's being helpful, but it's actually just trying to ruin your life. So maybe this will work, maybe it won't. You'd actually have to scan the entire manuscript to find out if by changing it to auto, it did something nasty to you. So I'm going to go change that back. We're going to force it. Now, depending on the text that you're working with, like, and the page size and who your audience is and that sort of thing, like if you don't like how condensed this manuscript is, when people are actually looking at it, the lines to lines, you don't want to go through. You don't want to select it and then go up to font and then change the amount of space between it, or paragraph, I guess you would do it, and just change that paragraph. You want to change the whole style. So in order to avoid that problem of the whole thing freezing, I'm going to show you. Main text, modify. Oh, you can't see that. Modify it. And I told you about the automatic update. I have it checked. So now I do not have to select all of it. This had better work. Let's make it 1.5 spacing. There we go. And now it's done it to the whole manuscript. That's the power of the style. A lot of times people get stuck. Like going in, if you have to go through line by line, it's just going to be super frustrating. If all you have to do is come up to the style menu, I'm back over here again, and change it in one spot, that is much better. So right now we're going to change it to 16 spacing. So that's better, right? And we can do that with the font as well. We can come change the font. It's Garamond Pro. Everything's happening just by updating the style. Okay. So let me go through and just highlight the chapters one more time. Oops. That is because it's automatically updated. Create new style. So now, if you're following what I'm saying here, instead of actually physically pressing enter to create this space, you see the paragraph mark there. That looks better, but then you're going to have to go through and make the change manually, line by line for every chapter. So after we set it up once, we don't want to have to do it again. So instead, I'm going to go back to the style, modify it, center it, and then if we go back to, can you see? This is wrong. Okay. Here it is. It's up here. Oh, I see. It's the same stupid one. Good grief. Anyway, now I'm going to add my space that way. And I centered it. So now every time I go through, in fact, let's add a space ahead of it too. Why not? Okay. I'm just going to do a couple because I'm going to want to show you how to make a table of contents. This is going just a little bit longer than I wanted to because of the ridiculousness. So we're just going to do that. So now if I don't like this, instead of going through and finding every chapter, you only have to do that once. After that, after you've assigned the style, it'll automatically update. Okay, so now there are a couple ways of creating a table of contents. Basically, when you come into the style menu, I'm not sure because it's another submenu thing. Modify. Yes, you can see that. But you can't see this. Why not? So sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I don't get it. Okay. So this is where you make this change is outline level. Level 1. So now if you see this little arrow here, that means that this is no longer the body outline. It's been turned into a level. Okay. So let's go to, and look over to the left here where it's in this area here where before it didn't say headings, but now it does. So now you can actually skip through your manuscript using the levels. Let's change the level one more time. Let's make it a level 2. And let's get rid of the first line indentation for our chapters while we're there. Centers it nicely. And now we will make our books. Where's the book? We'll make that a level. Okay, so again, now if you look to the left here, it started to organize it for you, right? And you can skip around. I deleted the other stuff so my computer doesn't hang. Skip around real easily. But now let's say we want our table of contents. Let's create a blank page for it. Right here. And let's see here. Oh boy. The funny thing is like I haven't actually done a table of contents like this. Here it is. It's right here. This is not how I make my table of contents. So you can't see the little subheading. But there, it generated it for me. See? If you can see, I'm up at this top left here. You can see where I'm hovering. Let's try a different format. Okay. So it automatically generated it for you, which is nice, right? Problem is I actually haven't done any page numbering. Also, I didn't get to control the formatting. And like now, if you make a change, like I said, you're going to be dealing with Microsoft Word's automatic formatting system. So that's not actually the way I like to make my table of contents. You see that there's a style menu down here for it. I'm going to insert a table for my table of contents so that I have full control over it. I will merge these cells. And I will build it myself. Actually, we'll merge that cell too. The problem is you can't see all the stupid little submenus, which would be really helpful. Chapter 1. We're going to insert some rows. Chapter 2. I made an extra row for just so that I can or a column so I can move things around. Put my periods in. Put my page number in. Align it to the left. Okay. Now, when I'm all done with this, obviously you're not going to want to have a table of contents in your book that looks like this, right? You just go and you right-click inside it. You go to Table Properties, go to Borders and Shading, and you hit None, and it'll all go away. And that's how you're going to be able to create it. So let's deal with those page numbers now. So right now this is on an even page. I told you Microsoft Word does not like even starting page numbering on even pages. So we're just going to insert a page. This is where our section breaks really helped. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to put my footnote on the bottom. All you have to do is click in the space in the bottom. Now, you see up here where it says link to previous? For your very first section, you don't want it linked to the previous because basically it's going to borrow the page numbering from the pages that came before. And in this case, we don't want that because there's no pages there. So we're going to get rid of it. Go up here, page number, bottom of page. says 9. We're not going to keep that. Go back up to page number. It's not letting you see the submenu. Started at 1. And let's change the format of it just a little bit. And then you click on the main text to get out of it. So there is the first page number. Okay? And you see that it's going to keep on going here. And because the other sections are linked, when we get to another section, it should automatically continue the page numbering. Now I'm going to scroll down here, and while I'm scrolling, I may as well. Catch some of these other chapters. Now, did you see this? Now, this is right at the bottom above the page number, and it looks hideous. So this would be a case where I would use a page break. Design, layout, page break. That starts the chapter on the next page, and it doesn't hurt anything. Okay, here's another one. I just want to get to the first book. That's all I'm trying to get to here. In fact, let's just jump. Just come right here. There we go. Okay, so we have these section breaks. We have the book. We probably don't want a page number on this one. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go here. Actually, probably go here. Unlink the link to previous, because we don't want to delete itself. Because what we're going to do is, now that we've unlinked that page number, now we can come up here, unlink that one. So now this little section is independent of both the for section and the after section. And we can get rid of it. And that is blank, but it still continues on. Okay? So now, when I'm generating my table of contents, if I would have done them all, right, all I have to do is go here, see what page it is. Let's actually go back up to the table of contents. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this, at least temporarily, a new style. There's a reason for this. Just hold on just a minute here. Creating a style, table of contents, modify it. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to go over to, I'm not sure how many of this you can see, level 3. Because of the way the stupid So now on the left side over here, this table of contents is shown, right? So now I can just very easily skip around. I want to update this so chapter 1 has the right number. So I'm going to actually make it so that I can see the borders again. Just while I'm doing this. So we know chapter 1 started on 1. Chapter 2 is page 2. Jump back up. 2. 3 is 6. 4 is 10. You get the idea. I don't need to keep doing this. This is the one place where I don't tend to use styles too much because they don't work well inside of tables. But I only have to build it once. And then when I'm done, right, I just, oops, let's get these, my periods back in, just copy them. Get rid of the borders again. Get rid of the paragraph formattings. So you can see that that's starting to look pretty nice, right? So I don't like building my pages using, or a table of contents using the auto generation because you have no control of the tedious control, we'll say, of the final presentation. Whereas here, I can go through and mess with it and tweak it. I only do the table of contents when I'm done doing all the page numbering, all the section breaks, all of everything, because there's nothing more annoying than going through all these numbers here and changing something later. Then you have to go through and do it all over again. So I usually do the table of contents last. Okay. But you see how it's looking pretty good, I think, even just with this. Okay. Now, let's just go to the very top, to the front matter. And we're going to change this to normal for a minute while because the main text is currently set to be automatically updated, and I don't want my changes to this to automatically update the rest of the manuscript. So we're going to make this, oops. This is our title page now. I like to put images, sometimes the cover itself, at least on one of the title pages, so that if the front cover is ever damaged, people can still have what looks kind of like a cover. Getting rid of all the auto stuff that it does. Remember, you got to have a blank page, or I suppose you don't have to. Here's what we'll do. We're going to copy that. Change this to normal while I mess with it. I might just leave that alone. That looks okay. That's fine. We'll just leave that. Okay. Usually your front matter is a slightly smaller text than the rest of it. The front matter stuff is the, oops, that's what I said not to do. Got to change it to normal first, otherwise it'll automatically update everything. Okay. I don't usually use the styles on the front matter because I'm just working through a small section. I don't have to worry about the whole manuscript. Okay, so for most of my books, now this is really going to be about it. That's really almost all you need. change the page sizes, put the page numbering in, use styles to modify your main text. That was the longest part of this evening, right? And that was only because my computer's on the fritz. Usually it would have been really quick. And that already looks pretty nice. And if you don't like it, you just go, you click on the thing. You can see where on the left in the style menu, it tells you what style you're looking at, right? So if you don't like the way that is, you think it should be more pronounced, you just go modify it to whatever it is that you want. And now all of them are updated. And that's the way you want to do it. Otherwise, you'll sit here and you'll be messing with it all the time. Okay. Couple of things to mention before I kind of move to maybe the last things that I would want to cover. This is you can almost kind of see that when it's actually in the book. One of the problems is, well, you know, depending on the size of your pages and your margins, the text on the inside of the binding could get caught right in the spine area, right? So a lot of times what I'll do is I will go back to my layout here. And change the margins on the left and the right to make sure that there is enough room. But make sure you click on right here, whole document. And that's going to create more space between the spine and the text. Okay. See, that just hurts my eyes seeing that. And that hurts my eyes too, but I know how to fix it. I'll just get rid of this line spacing stuff that you can't see because it's, there we go. All right. So this is already a pretty fine looking layout here. Title page, blank on this side, title page again. Here's our front matter. This is how I build the table of contents. You just go and make whatever changes that you want there manually. You can use the navigation menu over here to jump around after you've gone through the tedious work of the initial setup. Now I'm just going to show you one last thing and then call it. This is usually actually about all that I'm going to do. I mean, there's going to be, I'll change like the font, or if there was a song or something or some sort of quote, it's actually worth, like here, this little section right here. It's almost like a song here, right? You see this little section here? Now, if I wanted to format this like a little bit different so that it popped and it was easier to see, I'm not going to do what I just did, actually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to decouple it from my main text, first by changing it to normal. Showed you how to do that. And now I'm going to highlight it and create a new style for it. We're going to call it songs, even though I don't think we're looking at a song here. And so now you can see on the left side, we have a new option. And this is where we're going to make our change. So modify, we're going to make it italics. We will put a before and after this. You can't see what I'm clicking on. That's a little annoying. We'll still make sure that it's justified text. Okay. And now every time that I see something that is the same format, instead of manually changing it, I will just, let's pretend this is what I'm talking about here. I'll just highlight that part and change it to songs and delete my space. That's not actually a song. But then if I mean, you get the idea, right? Or do I have to demonstrate? Songs, select all 2 instances, modify. Let's make it a big song. Make it really pop. There you go. Select. It didn't actually take. There we go. There we go. Okay. This right now, you should start posting questions because I plan on being done within 10 minutes here. I would normally go through at the end and make sure that I end on an odd number page that is blank. And right now, you see that I'm ending on an odd number. I need to end on an even number that's blank. So what I have to do is I'm going to have to add a blank page. And you can see the problem here is now I'm ending on an even number, but I've got these page numbers, and the printer's not going to like that. So I'm going to go here and make sure I go unlink, link to previous. Now that it's unlinked, if I delete the page numbers, it'll delete those pages and leave everything else alone. Now, normally I wouldn't, I'm not going to do this manually. Well, I guess maybe I would do the end manually. The reason why even something as trivial as the end I might create a style for is because sometimes you might get in there and then you and finish it, and you and the author are like, you know, this would look better in an entirely different font scheme. And so if you wanted to change the font for everything, if you did anything manually like I just did here, then you're going to have to hunt for everything manual that you did. Whereas otherwise, you could just go through your list of styles and update the styles with the font. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it alone. I don't see anyone posting questions or comments. So I'm going to give you an advanced tip. This is already pretty good. Obviously, this would have been, I'd make this look great. But these are the main ingredients. But sometimes if you want that really extra edge, this is a little bit, this is about as complicated as I've ever felt that I've needed to go, is to use gutters. And this is how I'm going to conclude this. So what a gutter does is it shifts the whole page away from the spine. And it'll mess with the page numbers and everything when I do this. So you do want to do this before you really start working on it. So hopefully it'll show when in the submenus. So it was, you have to go to your page layout, page setup. It's back in here. Here's your gutters right here. You want the left gutter, and then we'll say 0.2. Do not forget to apply it to the whole document. In fact, I'm going to make the gutter just a little bit bigger so that you can really see the effect. I wouldn't normally do this. So now that's the right side page. So that's when you're holding it open, it's going to be on this side, and that means that text is further away from the spine. Now look at the second page. Oh, I missed a step. Oops. Okay, back to page setup. paper layout. Here we go. Yes. Do not forget different, odd, and even. And don't forget whole document. There we go. Now we got it. And then if you want to make sure that you caught everything, you zoom out and you'll just see. So when this is printed, then it'll put that extra space in away from the spine, so that the words don't get buried inside the spine. Now, I don't actually use the gutter myself very often anymore, and the reason is because if you have look right here. See, we lost our page number, and it's not a big deal, but now we have to actually, because we've created a different odd, and there's an odd section and an even section basically. We have to make sure that we tidy up all the little things now, because now everything is changed by doing this. So like I said, you do this first. You do the gutters first, actually, if you're going to do it. That way you don't have to go through and regenerate your table of contents or your page numbers and all this other jazz. So I think that no one's posted any questions or comments here. I think I might make a standalone video on this and then screenshot all the little submenus, because I think that would be really helpful to see. Yeah. So I think that's going to be it. So obviously I told you I would never allow that to just stay like that. I'd put it on a new page. No questions or comments? Oh, yep, see, here's what I mean. Now we're at the very end again, and it's added a page number there. That's why you do your gutters first. We just unlink to that. Delete it. And now our ending pages are blank again. And then you would have to export it to PDF. Well, I think that's going to be it for tonight. I'm going to definitely think about doing a thing where I take screenshots of the little sub-menus as I do it, do a standalone. But hopefully this was helpful for you. And if you do have questions about other specific things like using bullet points, there are lots of other formatting features that you can put in here. I didn't insert any images. There are some tricks I can show you on images. So maybe I should do a part 2 where I show you how to do that kind of thing. Because especially if you're doing illustrations, that is a useful thing to know. So with that and seeing nothing, I apologize for the stupid delays. I'll have to figure out what the heck's going on with my computer. Again, I guess. And thanks for watching. I'm Anthony Horvath for the Gutencast, author and publisher of the Guten Book Press. And that is it.